Hi, in this tutorial I will show you how to make a simple calculator using MATLAB GUI guide. By doing this, you will get a good basics for GUI making in general. Let's start. Make sure that you are in the right directory. Make new folder, name it as you wish, and set it as your current folder. Go to the new option at Home panel and choose Graphical User Interface. Check Blank GUI and click OK. You get a blank canvas for editing. You can change its size by dragging the lower right corner. On the left side, there is a panel with objects such as buttons, pop-up menus, checkboxes, etc. And first object that we'll use is Edit Box. Choose it and stretch it with the left mouse button on the canvas. Then choose Button Object and do the same. We'll need a bunch of buttons. By holding left shift and using a left mouse click, you can select multiple objects, after which you can copy and paste the selection to speed up the process of drawing. Static text object is used to add descriptions on the GUI canvas. When you right mouse click on the static text box you made, go to the Property Inspector and you'll get a window with many setup options. You can change the font size and change the text content under a field string. You can do the same for Edit Box. Because all the calculators are right-side oriented, you can set up the Edit Box to be as such. Delete the content of string field to make it blank. Field tag is the most important field because it names the function in the code assigned to the object. I'll type screen, and that will be the callback for this object. For buttons, I'll do the same, except for the field string where I'll put the numbers, operation signs, etc. You can select multiple objects and change a common setup in the Property Inspector for all of them, like font size in this case. Now, when the drawing job is done, by clicking on the green play button, I will run the code. But before that, you must save your program. It will save two files, .fig, which is file for GUI, and .m, which is file where the callback code is stored. After this, the program is executed. You can click on the buttons, but nothing happens. I must type the code to make it alive. The window in Editor is opened automatically. We need callbacks because callbacks are the functions attached to the program objects. Other functions are auto-generated, and in this tutorial we won't be bothering with them. First, I'll set up the numbers. Variable s loads content of the screen. The variable is used only under this function. Handles.screen associates with the screen's callback, and get function loads the string stored in the screen. Set function does the opposite. It writes to the screen. strcat function concatenates string that is previously loaded from the screen with one more number. Let's test it. Now I do the same for all numbers. Use copy-paste. Next, I'll set up the C reset button. It just writes an empty string on the screen. To make an operator function, I'll need to use global variables. That means that if I declare some variable as global under a function, it could be loaded into some other function in program by also declaring the same variable under it, and vice versa. It is the most important trick in GUI making. I'll need two global variables, a for loading the type number for the operation, and the selector will be explained later. I must also convert the string to number before assigning it to global variable a. After loading the number from the screen, we need to reset the screen for typing the second number for the operation, so I use expression as in the reset function. I'll do the same for other operations. Give other names to the variables like b, c, d, and associate other numbers to the selector variable 2, 3, 4. When you enter the second number, you'll click equals to get the result. Under function equals, first I'll declare all global variables that we need. Now is the time to use the selector variable for the case function. Selector defines which operation will be executed. Notice that I do not need 4 global variables a, b, c, d. I could use only one for all the operations, but never mind, you'll be smarter. String to number is used when you're loading second operand that is written on the screen, and you type it back, first converting it from number to string. Set up all 4 cases and that's it. Let's test it. Now I'll change the minus function. I want it to recognize the blank screen, and when you click on a minus button, to type minus. All I need is one if-else statement. When you run the code, first click the C once. It loads screen with an empty string. Then the statement works perfectly. Next is programming the constant pi loading. It needs to be loaded when the screen is empty and not when something is already typed. One if statement is enough. strcmp function compares two strings and returns 0 if they are different and 1 if they are the same. So pi is typed only when the screen is empty. Also, click C once before trying. Square and root buttons are programmed to work on click. No need to use them under equals function. One more thing is to set up the comma not to be typed when the screen is empty. That's about it. My goal wasn't to make a perfect calculator, but to explain some basic GUI functionalities. I hope it helped you with your assignments. If you have some questions or requests, feel free to write me. I'll consider them and maybe do more videos. To support me, you can subscribe to this and my other channels, Morning Vibes. It's an artistic project I work on. It regards ambiental sound recordings. Check it out in this video's description. Bye!